Hi and welcome back to Banana Imperium Sports. This is your host Brian Mosetti, and this is the warm-up show. So today I'm very happy. On Sunday I lost my voice. I was screaming. Yeah, so it has taken me time to do the recording, but yeah, I'm glad we did win as Arsenal. Yeah, it was a good weekend. At least saizi kuna kelele kwa streets, although my voice haiko, and it has been a very good a very exciting start of the week. Kina Manchester United, I'm very sorry for my friends when you lose. And yeah, so the prophet himself, I am the prophet, of course. I said we are going to win by 3 goals to 1. So, and that's exactly what we did. So today I'll not predict the coming games, because we are going for an international break, and yeah, so I'll just react to the games that we have played the last week. That's my match week 4, and for this episode is like a bonus episode, which is supposed to be episode 5, of course, but yeah, so I'll react to the games, and also see react to the games that were played, and also see the scores and my prediction as well. So we are going for the international break, as I have just said. And yeah, very exciting. I wish we could go on this momentum, because the games are coming in thick and fast. And without wasting time, the first game is which was played on was it on Friday? Yeah, so the first game was Luton Town and West Ham. I predicted 2-1, and that's what 2-1 was the actual outcome. And 3 points for me for that one, predicting the game, the team that won, and also the correct score. At this point, Luton Town, they look very weak. I mean, they are losing games, although they are not being demolished. But at this rate, I think, as I predicted, they'll just go back to championship. And by the way, West Ham have been playing well, and I think I don't think they are going to, as I predicted, they are going to be in and around the mid-table, but they are overachieving, because Ward-Prowse has come with almost an instant impact for the team. There are players like Skamaka, who left just after 1 year. Sorry, Skamaka left the team, and also Declan Rice, who by the way is doing a very great job at Arsenal. But I'll go back to Arsenal. Yeah, so West Ham did win, and the second game on Saturday was Sheffield United and Everton. These are two teams that they're likely to struggle this season, and I predicted 2-2. That's exact correct score, and yeah, they were equal. I think Everton, they allowed Iwobi to go, and Sheffield have not done marquee signings, as I said in my Premier League prediction video. And Everton as well, they have brought in some players, but they are not, as people call them, marquee signings. And yeah, they'll still struggle in and around relegation zone for the 3rd year in a row. So 2-2 correct score for me. Manchester City Fulham, I had predicted 4-1, but I changed to 3-1, and the actual score was 5-1. And I think I was almost there, because Man City, it's obvious they were to win, and 5-1 is a Man City. In short, Man City have started on a high note, and for Arsenal, or another team that is going to challenge them, it's going to be a very tough gig, because we know Man City as a team that starts slow, and when it comes to the very end of the season, or at least when we start the year around January, they are very consistent, and they barely lose games. So Man City have started on a high note. I thought, although I watched the game, and I think Fulham started well, and they equalized 1-1, but then Pep is not around. He went for surgery. When we come back after the international break, I think Pep will be around, and this was the only chance for them to lose games, but they look like they are not going to slow down. So yeah, Man City are still doing very, very well, and I hope they drop points, because now the league is becoming boring, them winning from year to year. And I do think, even though I support Arsenal, I do think Man City are still the best team in the league, and there's no other team that can come. Let me say, even in Europe, there is no team that plays is as solid as Man City, and so I think they are going to dominate for the longest time, because they still have young players. Although I said some of their players are aging, the likes of De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, the second keeper, and even Ederson. They are even Walker, who by the way is not leaving. I thought he was going to leave, but he's around. And yeah, they still have very, very young players, the likes of Foden, Grealish is around there, Alvarez, Gomez is coming in. They of course they sold Cole Palmer to Chelsea. Those are some of the young players. And Gomez, left back, Ake is still young. Diaz looks like an old man, but yeah, plays like an old man, but he's quite young. Akanji around 24 years. So even Rodri, it looks like he's been playing since 1990s, but he's still they have a very young squad. Not that young, but it's young in terms of age, but in terms of experience, they are very, very experienced. So I think they are going to dominate. They are still going to dominate, and it will be very hard for the likes of Chelsea and all these teams to catch up, and even Arsenal. So yeah, City 5-1, that was satisfactory. 5-1 is it's a statement win, and I think they are going to make it even harder for those teams that are going to challenge them. Also on Saturday, there's Chelsea Nottingham Forest. I predicted 2-1 to Chelsea. They fumbled as always. So Chelsea, as much as I'm an Arsenal fan, sometimes I like being honest. Chelsea have one of the youngest squad around at the moment, and I think they have a very good coach in Pochettino, and the likes of they have signed the entire school, yes, but I can see what they are trying to do, and if they click, I do think they are going to do very well. So Chelsea, the only problem with Chelsea is the injuries. Fofana in and out, always out. Reece James in and out. Chilwell, the same case. and the defense is also prone to injuries. So I think if they find a way to avoid injuries, or maybe even they do sign better, they're unlucky. So if they stay out of injuries, the likes of Reece James, of course they have Malo Gusto is covering him, the new players like Jackson, Cole Palmer, a very good young player from City. If Sterling clicks, we have the likes of Caicedo, Enzo. That's a solid midfield. And Thiago at the defense, we have Chaloba, Fofana if he comes back, Disasi. Those are very young players who I think will thrive well under Pochettino. So the trajectory for Chelsea is they are a very good team. They are very good team, and I think they are going to perform well, better than last year, but it will take time, at least 2-3 years, for them to be a solid team to compete for top 4. So as I predicted, they'll qualify for, I do think they might qualify for Europa League, same as Liverpool. But it will be tough for them because of the experience, of course, but and again the injury. So Chelsea, they lost to Nottingham Forest 1-0. It is what it is. They lose. These are the kind of games they should be winning, and that puts them in a tricky situation, because this game they were at home, they were at Stamford Bridge, and it was for them to win, but they lost. And I still do think they are a decent squad, and they'll catch up. Burnley Tottenham is another one that I predicted 2-1. I predicted 3-2. It was I thought it was a close one, because Tottenham are not in the recent years they have not been they have not been solid, they have not been consistent, but under Ange, the name Ange Postecoglou, they are showing signs of improvement. They are more of attacking rather than a defensive team, and the introduction of Maddison, Brennan Johnson, and also Solomon, and the keeper Vicario, and Bissouma is back, Papesa. Those are the players that they needed for a rebuild, and they are doing the work. Højbjerg is back in the bench. Kulusevski is doing very well, and Romero, Van de Ven. Those are the defensive players, and I do think they have a chance to qualify. Although I did not, I did rule them out of Europe, but I mean, I said they will qualify for maybe Conference League or around number 9, 8 there. But I do think they have a better chance. Comparing them with Aston Villa and Chelsea, I do think they are showing signs after beating Manchester United, and also winning against Burnley. By their son scored a hat-trick. Maddison doing madness, and I think he's a quality player for them. So after the recent games, I do think they are on the right track, and they have no pressure, at least, and they are doing the work. So if they keep playing Solomon, Kulusevski on the wings, and Maddison behind Son, I do think Son will he'll reach 20 plus goals, because the hat-trick he scored, by the way, was a nice hat-trick, and I saw the old Son back, and so Tottenham for me, they are showing signs of improvement, and I do think they are going to do great work. So another game is Brentford and Bournemouth. Bournemouth. This one I said Brentford is going to win, and it ended up in to win by 2-1. It ended up in a draw 2-2. So that one, there's not much to say because Brentford are still we took their keeper David Raya, and they're also missing Ivan Toney. The goals Ivan Toney used to give them, they're missing at the moment. Of course, we have the likes of Wisa and other strikers, but the levels of Toney are high, and I do think they are really missing him. And these are those games they should be winning. But yeah, Bournemouth is a worthy competitor. That's why I predicted 2-1, just because of the home advantage. So I thought maybe they'll score. Yes, I predicted they'll score 2 goals, but I thought maybe Bournemouth will struggle because they are away, but it ended up in a draw. And Bournemouth are they are decent team to play against. Brighton, Newcastle. This was a big game, super Saturday game, and Brighton, they have not been on top of their game, same as Newcastle. So I predicted Newcastle to redeem themselves because I thought the other week, Brighton played a very good game, but they lacked goals, and I thought maybe Newcastle are going to come back and cause problems for them, but it's not what it was, because the game ended up in Brighton beating Newcastle 3-1, and I don't know what is going around in Newcastle. They have done the business. Harvey Barnes, they signed Harvey Barnes from Leicester City. Tonali, who is Italian, and they did they tried to improve their squad, and I don't know what's lacking, because they are the same team. The only player who has come, who has distorted maybe the first 11 is Tonali instead of Joe Willock, who is Arsenal graduate, and I do think Tonali adds impact. Is a quality player compared to Joe Willock. I do think Willock is very decent, very proactive around the field, and it's a very good box to box. So once they click, I do think once they click, Bruno Guimaraes, Joelinton and Tonali, that's a very quality midfield. And so it will take some time for Eddie to unlock them, and I do think as well Eddie is not Newcastle have come a long way. The other year they were competing to survive out of relegation. He came in, he transformed the team. They were bought by Saudi Arabia. They were to finish third, but Manchester United overtook them, and so they finished fourth. They qualified for Champions League, and by the way, they're in a very, 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 very tough Champions League pool. If they get knocked out in the group stages, it will be an advantage for them to focus on the league, and so because they are struggling at the moment, I do think they will be kicked out of the league, the Champions League, because they are in a very, very tough pool. So Brighton, this one of those teams that is very well run, because they have a very organized structure, from recruitment, the way they do their business, the players they bring in, and how they develop players. I mean, look how they brought in the likes of McAllister. They are now superstars who just transferred to Liverpool. And Ciso, they have very Stupinan. You see, Chilwell flop at Chelsea because I think the pressure is there, and I do think Chelsea is a chaos of a team at the moment. So it's you can't judge a player who's just who's come to Chelsea. And so Brighton, they are doing their business very nice, and Mitoma, that guy is next level. They also signed Ansu Fati from Barcelona on a loan deal till July. Milner on a free from Liverpool. The midfield is even better because Gilmour is now getting a chance, and their midfield, I had some doubts about their midfield, but I think they're doing the work. And not to forget Ferguson, that kid is a hell of a striker, and I do think he'll get one day. I mean, in the next, if he continues to do what he's doing at the moment, he will become a hurricane of the next generation. So Ferguson, that's one of the players I wish he was my in my team. So Ferguson scored a hat-trick, same as Son, and the alien from Norway, Haaland. Those are the players who scored hat-tricks, and Brighton have a very good squad, same as Newcastle. Now it comes down to the nitty-gritty of doing the business of scoring and defending. So Brighton came on top, and they scored three goals to 1. Wilson scored for Newcastle, and Ferguson scored all the 3 goals for Brighton. So a good game, and it's a good look for Brighton. Crystal Palace, Wolves, they have lost a couple of key players, and I predicted Sheffield, Luton Town, and Wolves are going back to the championship. I do think Wolves are going down. I'm very convinced, because as much as I'd like them to hold on, I do think they are still weak. Although they are playing, the only business they are not doing is scoring. They are decent, not as poor as Luton or Sheffield, but I do think they are a decent team. And they scored 2 goals. Crystal scored 3, and I predicted Crystal will score 3, Wolves 1, but they scored 2 goals. Of course, that's 1 point for me, because I predicted Crystal to win 3-1, but it ended up 3-2. So Edward, Crystal scored 2 goals. Eze has been one of the best players for Crystal, and I do think the ceiling is high for him, and I do think he's going to reach there. Liverpool, Aston Villa, I predicted 3-2 as well. Nunes missed a lot of chances. Salah always is one of the, if not the best, left-sided, one of the best forwards, wingers on that side, followed by Saka. That's my opinion. And they were very sharp, and they scored 3 goals to 1, and I get 3 goals. I predicted 3 goals for them. Aston Villa, I predicted 2, but they scored 1. So Aston Villa have a very decent squad, very decent coach in Unai, former Arsenal coach, and Sevilla, who also coached PSG. He's very, 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 very experienced, same as Klopp. But yeah, Liverpool at home, they are very different animal, and I'll not write off Aston Villa. I do think they have a chance. Yeah, and they might even win the Conference League this year. And Liverpool, I predicted them to finish top 4, and I still hold on to that sentiment because I do think they will finish top 4. The way they are playing, they'll give us some challenge, because I do think they know how to chase Man City, and they have experience. The only issue with them is if, like for instance, Van Dijk got a red, he'll miss a game, and I don't think there is another defender who can cover him, because at the moment they have an injury. Konate has an injury, and Matip, a couple of graduates from the academy. I do think they are decent, but they still need in January I do think they should go for a defensive midfielder. And up front, up top, they are very, very bloated, because Jota, Diaz, Nunes, Salah, Gakpo, these are Curtis Jones. These are players who can give you 60 plus goals. So I do think up front they are good. Arnold is back in the midfield. I do think if they keep on playing him at the midfield, the score will be decent for them. And the cap is the new captain. Yeah, is one of the captains for them. Of course, he's a Liverpool player through and through. So yeah, Arnold, and even he was called by Southgate for England as a midfielder. So yeah, changing back to midfield will cover him, because going forward he's a decent player, very good at set pieces, is very nice, but defending is where maybe I can attribute that to one, experience, two, to the pace. He's got a little pace, but I still do think running back and forth and on the wings sometimes makes him look bad. But I think it's a generational talent, and yeah, at midfield he'll do okay. The last game of the weekend, match week 4. Where do I start? This is the game that made me lose my voice. Yeah, Arsenal na Manchester United. So yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy game, and I enjoyed the game. It was yeah, I don't know what to say. I lost my voice, especially the Declan Rice goal. That's when I lost it. And yeah, Arsenal, I predicted 3 goals, Manchester United 1, and that's that was the outcome. So Rashford always scores from around 18 yards. He scored a beautiful goal. Just as last year, he scored a screamer from afar. And yeah, we kind of struggled. I still think if we want to go forward, if we want to challenge Man City for the second year, and even win the league, I do think Arteta must drop Havertz. Ameze tu kiburi, because Havertz is not giving much. I can juxtapose these two scenarios. Man City signed Grealish from Aston Villa for 100 million. Okay, Havertz is not 100 million, but 65 million is a lot, and I understand why Arteta lazima acheze na yeye, because anataka kuprove kuwa aku waste pesa, but kila mtu anaona, we can see Arteta, Havertz he slows down the game. Sisi ni watu tukishika ball transition very fast, we are scoring, we are causing problems, but once Havertz gets the ball and slow down the play, anarudisha nyuma, he missed the chance, he made a mistake that costed that led to a goal, and also he went down. Kama hiyo yenye alikuwa amepewa penalty, if angekuwa Haaland, I do think ange persist kumove, angefunga, but akajiangusha and we lost a chance. Saka was very poor. Saka was poor. He didn't have the best game. He normally scores against Manchester United, but he never had a good game. Martinelli was decent. Rice was the player of the match. Odegaard always the best, and Jesus, that was cold, man. That was cold, trust me. And the moment I saw John Evans ameingia, Maguire, bro, it's 2023. Ukiweka Maguire and John Evans at the fence, ni kama umefence na nini, ni kama umefence na chakula. Mwana wewe atapita tu na hiyo. So Maguire and John Evans na so Fabio came on the last minutes of the game. Also Reece Nelson. On the other side, Anthony was decent, but hakufanya anything. Another loss for Manchester United is Martinez, a very decent center back. It's tough for Manchester United because the back line, they are getting injuries. Luke Shaw has an injury. Malaysia, I think, has an injury. Bisaka did quite well. I do think he did, although once in a while Martinelli could pass him, but he managed to silence him for some minutes. And it was a good game. And the positives from Manchester United side, I think that Højlund kid, so is a good striker. He gave Gabi some problems, but Gabi is experienced, and I do think in the next matches Manchester United should be starting Højlund, maybe Anthony and Rashford, or Garnacho, Rashford and Højlund. I don't know how they can maneuver if they drop Martial, because I think Højlund, when he came in, he caused more problems than Martial. Martial got a chance, it was blocked, and that was pretty much it. He never did so much for the team. I think when Rashford is not scoring, there are no goals. They already left. They parted ways with Greenwood, who scores goals. Fernandes had a good game. They know Arsenal plays in the recent times. Arsenal is a possessive team. They possess the game and they sat back. They were catching them at the break, and they managed to do that. Garnacho came on. They got Arsenal, and it was he scored, of course. It was a tight one, the VAR decision, which I do think it was right. VAR did good, because the Havertz one was not a penalty for Arsenal. I do think they did make the right decision. Garnacho one was a close one, because you could see Magalhaes was keeping him on, but when Eriksen flicked the ball, and I don't know, is it Rashford who gave a through pass, so you can see Magalhaes stepping back and then going forward. That was a genius move for Magalhaes, because ingekuwa ni Maguire, I think angekimbia tu, angerudi nyuma ndio anze kuenda, but ni risky because at times unaweza decisions za VR haziko consistent, and iko risky, but that's the decision ya defender ambayo ili make Arsenal kushinda that game. So for an average defender, I do think angefuata tu, and once hiyo ball imepita Saliba ama White na Magalhaes anakuja this way, akirudi and na Garnacho ako already in motion, angemfikia, so it could be angemweka onside na baada afunge bao, so hiyo ingekuwa game over for us. But that the microsecond decision by Magalhaes ili to save, bang, tukapata set piece, a corner kick. You guys wa Manchester United missed. Rice got a chance, akapiga, bam, ikakuwa flicked, ikakuwa deflected, inside. Then Manchester United wakitaka ku equalize, tukapata another chance. Nelson akapea Fabio to Jesus akalalisha Dalot, kageuza Onana. It is what it is. I think it was a good game. Manchester United, I do think they have a decent team, waki stick to their game plan, na pia they can still finish top 4, but kwa my prediction niliweka top 5, number 5. So I still think it's very early kuweza predict, because we don't know how the season is going. Tuko na injury Partey, Timber is yet to come back, but that hiyo tusahau. For Manchester United, Luke Shaw. For Chelsea wako na Reece James, Fofana, and all those players. For at least kila team iko na injury, but Manchester United have a problem, and that was a very good weekend, and I enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. I don't know what to add, but we are going to the international break. I'll be watching Harambee Stars, and we have another program kwa pipeline for the Kenyan League. Tumefocus sana uzunguni, but tukikuwa stable tutaanza the Kenyan Premier League. Myself nilikuwa City Stars fan, nikahama sasa hivi ama Shabana fan. Shabana, I see you maniga. So tutaanza Kenyan Premier League as well. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you wale wenye mna like na kushare. Let's grow this channel, and let's talk football, because this is what keeps us going. We make tunapanganga week according to the game. So looking forward for the date 16 ndio tuna resume, and also the Champions League. The pool is imekuwa out, Europa League, Conference League. So I say peace, nawapenda sana, and hope to see you again. Bye. Keep it banana Imperium Sports.